Welcome back to the Black Box. I am your host, and today we are adventuring into one of the oldest places on Earth, a land found clean to the Bay's leg and secret, and trees seem to whisper story for a time before memory. We we are talking about the Montes Apalaches.
Every time I heard the Appalachian Mountain mentioned, it feels like you are talking about a place completely different from anywhere else on Earth. It is as if time moves slower there.
And technically, that is true. The Appalaches are around 418 million years old. They are older than this Alp, older than these Rocky Mountains, and far older than mountain ranges we know today.
That means these mountains existed long before modern existed, before historical world, even before humans existed at all.
And I think that age is one of the main reasons why so many people feel something strange when talking about this place.
One very common experience among hikers is the feeling of being watched.
Yes, and I'll often it may just be paranoia or fear. There are hundreds of accounts from people saying, saying exactly the same thing.
Imagine walking along a path completely alone, 700 by 103, hearing nothing but your own footsteps, and suddenly feeling like someone is right behind you.
And when you think around, there is no one there.
This can be explained psychological. The human brain is designed to stay alert in unfamiliar places.
But even so, an experience must be terrifying.
Some Yakers say the stop feeling safe even during the day. It is as if the whole forest were alive.
Why many are probably exaggerated. Serval originated from real advice shared between Hakins.
Besides, there are stretches of land where there is no cell phone signal for miles.
That means even small situations can turn into something frightening.
Now then, let's talk about the famous rules of the Montes Apalaches.
These rules became popular online, especially in horror forums and videos about paranormal experiences.
Why many are probably exaggerated. Serval originated from real advice shared between Hakins.
The months were known rule says, if you hear sounds calling your name in the forest, do not answer.
According to legend, there is something in the forest capable of imitating human voices.
And what is planning it time many story describe exactly this. Hearing the voice of and fear of family number over which you are completely alone.
Of course, there can be normal explanations for this. It could be the ions, accounts, or even mental fatigue.
But imagine clearly hearing your name in the middle of the darkness.
At either or hearing the voice of someone you know is another. Rule 2. If the forest goes completely silent run.
Another very well known rule is if the forest goes completely silent, leave immediately.
And it really actually has some scientific long vision.
When animals sense danger, they stop making noise to hide or protect themselves.
When animals sense danger, they stop making no noise to hide or to protect themselves.
They say they say in no normal silence but a heavy feeling and if everything around you has suddenly stop moving.
Imagine hearing insects, birds, and wind, and then suddenly absolute nothingness.
Just you and the forest.
Another famous rule states never of self after dark.
Superstition says that using attacks unknown things.
In some stories, people hear whistles responding to the four different parents of the forest.
And often those whistles seem to get closer little by little.
This is probably related to nocturnal animals or hechos, but it is still definitely fleeting.
Now let us look at one of the most well-known cases related to the Appalachians, the cases of Gerald Larky.
Geraldine was a 60-year-old hiking traveling along the Appalachians train in 2000.
The Appalachian Trail is one of the longest hiking paths in the world. It crosses months of these mountains and attracts thousands of people every year.
One day, Geraldine walked a short distance of the trail to find some privacy, and she was never able to return to the main path.
And this is where the story becomes terrifying.
She survived for 7 days completely alone in the forest.
She tried to send text messages asking for help, but she had no signal.
Horford, racing teams were searching for key animals immediately.
They used helicopters, tracking dogs, and hundreds of volunteers.
But there never found her while she was still alive.
Years later, they found your scam.
And the most shocking part was that it was relatively close to the main trail.
The jaguar, how we see it, it's to hit low in the Appalachians.
Everything starts to look the same: trees, fog, rocks, and small.
And psychologically, fear can make disorientation ever worse.
Geraldine case is not the only one.
There are countless discrepancies linked to trails and forests in this region.
Sometimes long explanations, accents, extreme odor, or wild animals.
But others remain a complete mystery.
And this has led to many different theories.
Some people believe there are areas where it is extremely easy to become disoriented because of the terrain.
Others talk about paranormal phenomena.
There are even stories from people who claim to have bloodstains.
They say they walked for minutes, but when they came back, they discovered that hours had passed.
Sometimes Tainai appears very often in the accounts in the subject of sound.
Footsteps behind tents.
Knocking against trees.
And the foreign sky discord so doing in the very strange ways.
And distant voices.
Most of them probably have natural explanations.
But the human mind changes completely when you are alone and afraid.
In the dark, any noise seems much louder.
Hit the forest can distort something very strange.
Another very disturbing aspect is the abandoned towns near the mountains.
For decades, many communities existed within the Appalachians.
But many disappear after accidents or economic crises.
Today, empty houses, ruined schools, and abandoned mines still remain.
Head of Corsi. This has experienced many ghosting stories.
Some people claim to hear tools knocking inside mines where no one is present.
Others talk about links moving around into that are completely empty.
I think the fear people feel toward the Appalachian Mountains comes from the feeling of big small.
In a city, there is always noise, lines, and people around.
Building things in the forest. It's good to unite the nature.
And nature can be beautiful, but it can also be terrifying.
Especially in a place so ancient.
And perhaps that is why the Appalachians continue to fascinate so many people today.
The Montes Appalaches are much more than just mountain ranges. They are places full of history, mystery. Thanks for joining us again, the Black Box. And remember, if you ever hear something calling your name in the middle of the forest,